Today I'm going to be watching this video. It's called the Australian High School Experience. This is from the channel Yorak Hunt, which I think is probably one of the best names for a YouTube channel on here. But the Australian High School Experience, something I actually know very little about. I'd love to know your experience of Australian high school. All I know about it is from when I was younger. When I came home from my own school on TV would be like Home and Away and Neighbours. So you would see these like school kids in this beautiful sunny place, the nice greenery everywhere. It looked like an ideal place when I came home from a school in Scotland which was grey, rainy, depressing. It always looked like a beautiful place to go to school. Tell me how your high school experience was. Tell me if you relate to anything in this video. And go subscribe to Yorak Hunt. I love the videos on there.
School. 6 crap hours of our life. There's nothing like a good lesson. Or is there? You see, school is a very important part of everyone's life. You get to learn important things like Pythagoras' theorem, E=mc squared, the square root of 69, and other extremely important things like subtraction. All while skipping out on the important life lessons such as how to claim your PlayStation as a tax-deductible item. But you see, school isn't all about addition and hexagons. So in today's video, we'll be forgetting about Year 9 chemistry and how to divide pi, and instead we'll be focusing on the most important aspects of the Australian high school experience that no teacher besides yours truly would ever be able to teach you. So sit down, shut up, open your book to page 69, and if you speak over me, I'm gonna give you a backhander. Anyway, that's enough waffle. Let's get into our first lesson of the day. Now this first one is unofficially part of every Australian high school's curriculum, and that of course is the fan. Now while any fan will do, this is more targeted at the ceiling fan. You see, these fans are put into the classrooms to keep them cool during the 40-degree summer days. But did you know that if you crank them up to max speed, they also double as a particle accelerator? Now back in my high school days, the fan was one of my specialties, and my signature move was to throw a tissue box into the blades and let it explode all over the classroom. But you see, a tissue box isn't the only thing that can be turned into a projectile thanks to the roof-mounted particle accelerator. Some other things commonly tossed into the fan by me and my fellow classmates included pencil cases, workbooks, someone's lunch, fruit, water bottles, calculators, you name it. I even once tossed a dare-iced mocha with a slightly cracked lid straight at the fan, resulting in a light crop dusting of brown sticky liquid all over the whiteboard. Now I could waffle on all day about the ceiling fan particle accelerator. I even remember throwing a bike helmet into it once. But unfortunately, it's time to move on to our next important lesson in the Australian high school experience.
Okay man, so when I was talking about watching shows like Neighbours, Home and Away when it was so sunny and beautiful, I never really considered maybe it was just too hot for those kids going to school. So yeah, definitely in Scotland we don't have fans in our school, so trust school kids to come up with turning that into a weapon. Is that a common experience? I can only imagine Scottish kids having access to that sort of thing. The particle accelerator, that's a great way to term it. What would have happened, man? I'm pretty sure like more dangerous things would have happened, but even that one getting covered in some chocolate milk or whatever that is not a great thing to happen, I guess. But tell me, did you ever experience anybody throwing something at a fan?
And that, of course, is shoplifting. But before we get into that, I'm going to have to ask you to press that subscribe button. And if you don't, I'm going to come to your house and take all of the copper plumbing out of your walls and cash it in at the scrapyard. Anyway, every class that you take in high school will have a little bit of homework to it, and shoplifting is no different. You see, on the way to or from school, it's an Australian rite of passage to learn how to shoplift from the local supermarket. But this is no easy lesson, because if you get caught, you're in big trouble. Now, some of you may not know that there's a whole lot of homework involved in the art of shoplifting. First, you have to find and memorize all the blind spots at your local Coles or Woolworths, and then master the art of acting nonchalant with 4 kilos of chocolate down your pants. Now, obviously, I'm not encouraging this behavior because it's illegal, but this guy right here that I found on Google Images sure is. So if you don't put in the proper homework and get caught, just remember, I didn't tell you to do it, this guy did. Now, this next one is a...
Yeah, so that one, 100% relatable, man. In Scotland, that was definitely something a lot of kids did. I'm not going to say here whether I did or didn't, but definitely I remember kids coming into school with like their backpack almost full of things, handing out candy, sweets to everyone. It was mad, actually. So again, very relatable, that one. Do you know anybody that stole things? Did you ever partake? Tell me in the comments.
Huge part of the modern day Australian high school experience, and that of course is vaping. Now, I personally don't smoke or vape because I don't see the appeal in paying a $50 a week subscription for lung cancer. But in the recent years, the technique to giving yourself lung cancer has switched from analog to digital. And this new digital form of lung cancer comes with a lot more stealthy features. Those being a quickly vanishing vapor cloud and a far less noticeable smell. And these two features in particular make it perfect for the classroom. Now, obviously, if you get caught vaping in the classroom, you get in a lot of trouble. But luckily, all schools all across Australia have a dedicated vape room. It looks just like this. Now, the Australian school system quickly cottoned on to this, and many schools decided to install vape detectors in the toilets. But you see, school is a place of learning, and most students quickly learnt that if you just vape outside of the toilets, you won't get caught. Now, this next one is quite...
Yeah, man, no matter what rules you put in place, kids will find a way around it, man. Kids might not take notice in the classroom, they might not do so well, but when it comes to breaking rules, they can get to the like quickest way to do that easily, man. So yeah, like when I was growing up, of course, it was like things like cigarettes, smoking weed. It was like things a lot of kids did. Now with vaping, man, yeah, I think it's like very scary the amount of kids you see vaping and things like that. I've got 2 young children. I would never ever want them to do that. I'll be saying it's the most, I'll just be not allowing it at all. But maybe people here have got kids. Do you see that as a growing problem? Kids vaping and that sort of thing. And I watched another video recently where it said how cigarettes are so expensive in Australia so that no one really smokes cigarettes anymore. But is vaping cheaper? Is there a way to put like a higher tax on that to discourage that too, do you think?
Possibly one of the most important parts of the Australian high school experience, and that of course is the substitute teacher. There's no better feeling than walking into a class knowing full well that you've got 5 overdue homework assignments that you still haven't even started, all of which are due today, only to be greeted with the sight of some poor bastard wearing a visitor's lanyard. Now, this situation is basically a get out of jail free card. You're not going to get in trouble for all the homework that you haven't done, and for the next hour or so, you could basically get away with murder. Having a substitute teacher is basically just a license to fuck around. Now, fucking around is of course a major part of the Australian high school experience in itself, but as most of you should know, the best fucking around is done with a substitute teacher. Some of my personal favourite techniques of fucking around included piffing stuff across the classroom, obviously tossing at the fan, playing stupid noises like this out of the computer. Bonus points if you put on a pair of headphones, but then don't plug the headphone jack in all the way, so there's no way that it could be you.
I love sex!
And a personal favourite of mine is either tipping over someone's desk or chair with them still in it, and then acting like it wasn't me. Now the byproduct of these shenanigans is usually one of three things. The first of which being your teacher losing their temper. Now when a high school teacher in Australia loses their temper, they like to repeat the same few one-liners to the class in the hope that it persuades the group of 25 15-year-olds who don't want to be there anyway to improve their behaviour. Now I'm assuming most of the people watching this video have been to high school in Australia and should know these one-liners off by heart. But for those of you who dropped out at the end of year 6 to pursue a career making drug money, pretending to be a traffic light, these one-liners are things such as, "My year 7 class behaves better than you lot. Do you want to stay back after school? I'm here till 6 anyway. That's alright, I'll wait." And my personal favourite, "Right, you, out." And when this obviously doesn't work, they move on to the second level of punishments. These include things such as making you walk around with them, picking up rubbish off the floor during lunchtime, or making you stay back during lunchtime or after school and have a chat with them. But let's just say you got in trouble for doing something a little bit naughtier, such as sending your entire year level an email with a picture of a horse with 5 legs. Now in my final year of high school, I got caught doing this very thing. You see, me and a group of friends have been sending these emails almost monthly for the past 5 years. So when they finally caught me red-handed, they weren't gonna let me off easy. And this was the reason for one of the many Saturday detentions that I received in my high school career. And that brings us nicely into our third type of punishment, the detention. Now I'm sure all schools do detentions a little bit differently, but at my school the main ones were Friday and Saturday detentions. Now the Friday detention wasn't really that bad. All it meant was that you had to stay back after school for an extra hour on a Friday in a classroom full of like-minded degenerates. But the Saturday detention was a real punishment, but not for us students, the teachers. You see, these poor bastards had to come in for 2 hours on a Saturday morning and babysit a classroom packed to the brim with future criminals. And pretty much every Saturday detention that I had to sit through was nothing but an absolute laugh. Anyway, before we move on to the final and most important...
Just with regards to that, obviously the one with the substitute teacher is definitely relatable. I remember the feeling of joy when it's like not your real teacher, you know you're going to mess about and stuff. But now I'm older, I like kind of think about it from the teacher's perspective. Like being a substitute teacher must be like such a difficult thing, walking into this class of like just random children, knowing they're not really going to give you the full respect. And that one about detention, like detention actually is something we didn't have at school. If we got punished, it would be like you have to copy lines like 100 times, like a sentence. You have these sheets, you have to copy it. It was pretty tiring, but no real detention, which is a good thing. A Saturday detention is just another level. I've never heard of that. Again, feel sorry for the teachers in that respect, man, having to deal with the delinquents on your day off. Tell me if you are a teacher, were a teacher. Have you experienced being a substitute teacher? Have you experienced that Saturday detention? Or have you been the pupil in any of those situations?
Important part of the Australian high school experience, we've got to get through a few honourable mentions. Some of the other greatest parts of the Australian high school experience include fights, lunchtime, the canteen, PE classes before they start involving maths into it, getting the day off because it's too hot, learning from home during COVID, aka log in at 9 o'clock and then go back to bed, and of course finding ways to download games onto the school computer. Alright, now with those honourable mentions out of the way, it's time to get into the most important part of the Australian high school experience, and that of course is Muck-Up Day. For those of you who don't know, Muck-Up Day is the final day of Year 12 where everyone bands together to cause absolute carnage. Now there's so many different things that you can do for Muck-Up Day, but due to the fact that it's almost been a month since my last upload, and I'm trying to keep this video under 10 minutes because they take too long to edit, I've saved a lot of time by just putting this little slideshow on the screen that you're watching now. But anyway, the rule of thumb with Muck-Up Day is that if you didn't end up on the news, you didn't go hard enough. And year after year, schools try and stop students from doing Muck-Up Day, but that's just never gonna happen. And on that note, it's time to end. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share.
Go subscribe to that channel. Great work again, man. Tell me more about Muck-Up Day. Like maybe I'll try and watch a video just about that. Is that something you've partook in? What's the craziest muck-up day you've ever heard of? Now again, that one definitely we don't have in Scotland. I've never seen that before. The last day of term, usually kids won't be at school, man. They'll just have the day off, or they'll just not go to school, man. So never really had that. But interesting to know, Australian high school seems in some ways very similar to my Scottish high school, but some ways different. Tell me what you think about this one. Thanks.